And in other ocean news you need to know, the Biden administration is proposing new rules to protect right whales, the state marine mammal of Georgia, from fatal boat strikes by sharply limiting how fast many boats can go. But some are arguing that the rule does more to kill American jobs than to save whales. One of those critics is our next guest, Representative Buddy Carter, Republican of Georgia. Congressman, welcome to the show. It's good to see you this evening. Okay, so you say that this new rule is actually an overboard approach to protecting these whales and actually is a greater danger to American jobs in your state.
Well, it is. First of all, let's make clear that we care about the right whales, recreational fishermen, bar pilots. We all care about our environment, and we all care about nature. However, this is a rule that is short-sighted. I mean, they're going to require boats anywhere from 35 to 65 feet in length to only be able to go 11.5 miles an hour during the mating season, which is a long time. That will devastate recreational fishing, and that supplies over 2,700 direct and indirect jobs here in the state of Georgia. Recreational fishing alone has an impact of over $4.5 billion to our economy. Not only that, but the impact that it will have on our bar pilots and on our ports. It would have a devastating impact on them as well. So it is short-sighted for something that there's over a 1 in a million chance that a boat this size could hit one of these right whales. In the last 15 years, there's only been 5 documented strikes. It's just overkill here.
Okay, so talk about the impact that this will have, because it's not just Georgia. This is a new rule by NOAA that would actually go up and down the coast.
It would impact the entire Atlantic coast. And again, we want to protect our right whales. There's no question about that. But something else to keep in mind is there are other ways to do this instead of just limiting the speed. There are buoys that have sensors that can show us where those whales are at. I was in Canada and visited Meta headquarters where they're talking about AI, where they can actually track species in the wild now. You know, why can't we pursue something like that as opposed to having this devastating impact on our economy? And it would have a devastating impact.
Is there bipartisan support on this from your end?
Yes, there is. There is. In fact, the newest member of Congress from Alaska is the Democratic co-sponsor on this. So it is bipartisan, and it is going to impact everyone on the Eastern Seaboard, and potentially, if this goes through, it could have an impact on everyone who has any coastal region at all.
Okay, so Congressman, I want to shift gears with you to our economy. You and several other Republicans are trying to introduce this Fair Tax Act, which would impose a single consumption tax, actually do away with the IRS. I know many people will be happy about that. But how would this help our economy from your perspective?
Well, it would help our economy because it would be a consumption tax. You know, people don't like taxes, and we all understand that. However, given the choice between a property tax or income tax and a consumption tax, which this is, then they prefer a consumption tax. This would give people control. Instead of having unelected bureaucrats like with the IRS being in control, you would be in control now. You could determine how much you're going to pay in taxes. And, you know, it's been proven that the revenues would remain the same. It wouldn't be any change in revenue. The only difference is going to be that twofold. First of all, again, you, the consumer, would be in control. Secondly, we could do away with the IRS. There would be no need for an IRS if we were to pass the fair tax. I don't know about you, but I'd be in favor of that.
Okay, so you've been championing this bill for a long time. I know a part of the gavel negotiations with Speaker Kevin McCarthy, it is now going to be brought to committee, or said it will. So where does it stand right now?
Well, that's a good question, because I've been asking those who were involved in this. I was not personally involved in it during the negotiations when the speakership was in question, but I have been in touch with the Speaker's office as well as those who were involved in those negotiations to find out when are we going to have it brought up in regular order. That was the promise that was made, as I understand, and I hope that we will fulfill that promise because it deserves the day of light. It deserves to be heard. And look, it's not perfect, But that's why you have the committee process. That's why we need to work on it and refine it and make it even better than what it is right now.
Okay, so let's say this does make it to the floor in the House. Does it have a chance in a Democrat Senate where we have people who say wealthy people need to pay their fair share? Will it pass in a Democratic Senate?
Well, that's a good question. You never know what the Senate's going to do. We of course, in the House say that the Senate's where all good bills go to die, but it certainly deserves the attention of the Senate, and it deserves to be heard. This is something the American people want. They have overwhelmingly said they would prefer to have this type of consumption tax. So we need to bring it to the committee. We need to bring it to the House. We need to pass it through the House and get it to the Senate and let them look at it. And then we need to go from there.
All right, Congressman Buddy Carter, we'll have to check back in with you. Thanks for being with us this evening.
Thank you.